So, Charlie, thank you for coming in for this interview today to let the voters of Rollinsford know a little bit about who you are and why you are running for this position on the Budget Committee. And I'd like to ask you what you can tell us about yourself that will give us some insights to what you would bring to this process.
Okay. Well, just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Dover, moved to Rollinsford in 1984, and we raised 3 children here. In Rollinsford, I have enjoyed being a resident of Rollinsford. I love the pastoral atmosphere and the rolling hills and the stone fences and the quaintness of our area. It's close enough to where my business was, so it was really an easy commute, but it felt like I got away when I finally did get home. So Rollinsford has been very good to us, and we love the community, love our neighbors, love the way the town is. For a long time, I was involved in the automobile business. Had family business. My dad started the business in 1946. I got out of school, and there weren't a lot of jobs available in my career at the time.
What was your career?
I studied chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
But it was during the Vietnam War, and there were big cutbacks in the space program, and my aspiration was to work in a lab on maybe the Beltway to Boston on 128, where all those high-tech businesses were, but they were downsizing and cutting back because NASA's budget was cut back, and NASA was the driving force behind the new technology. So all my inspirations about that kind of got a reality check at the time, and while there were options for me, I decided to go into business with my dad, and I never regretted it. We had a very good relationship, and a lot of family businesses, it's tough to work with your father, but this one was a good relationship, and I worked for nearly 50 years in the business. Well, we just recently closed our doors. The rest of my family all wanted to do something else, and we found an alternative use for our business location, and we're developing that. So it freed me up, and everybody says you're retired, but I really don't feel that I understand what retirement is. I'm not the type of person that can sit still. So I was approached to commit myself for another job, but I just decided that I wanted to do some of the things that I hadn't had time to do. And one of them was to look into how our town operates and to get more familiar with the mechanics of our town. As I said, I like Rollinsford. I have every intention of staying here, and I want to make sure it remains the kind of place that I can stay and want to stay. And
That's a pretty strong reason for running for Budget Committee.
well, you got it all.
From your business background, you bring some strengths to the work of a Budget Committee. Can you talk a little bit about that? What do you think you've done in your work and career and your home life that has prepared you for being on the Budget Committee?
Well, I guess I always had to be involved in financial planning, even though that wasn't my background. I was in charge of accounting for our business and had to plan ahead. We were in the leasing business and the car rental business, and it required large amounts of capital to plan ahead for, deadlines to meet. Of course, we had employees, payrolls. All of this, it became apparent that accounting and budgeting was necessary in order to be successful. And so I learned the hard way, okay. I made some mistakes, but fortunately I made some good decisions, and I was able to continue, and you know, we had a very good business situation for all of those years. Okay, we're able to grow and prosper, and I think it was due to financial planning and the tools that I learned along the way, I bring to Rollinsford now.
Great. And it was a family business.
It was a
And
family business.
So it must have involved working with other members of the family toward decision-making. How do you think that prepared you for working with a public committee?
Well, pretty much my dad and I were the decision makers. Well, I have a younger brother who was involved. He wasn't interested in the fine details, okay? So it was my dad and I, but I had to work with, we were licensees of a car rental company. I had banking relationships. We had a lot of outside people that we had to work with, and vendors, dealers, fleet managers. So, you know, I'm used to working with committees. I was on the National Advertising Committee for Thrifty Car Rental for a number of years. I dealt with dealer groups as a dealer. So I'm used to working with people. I'm used to sharing ideas. I'm a reasonable communicator, but I'm a better listener. So I think those are all strengths that probably I can draw on for this this job if I do get an opportunity to serve.
Well, you said one of the things that I think is really required in public government, and that is to be a good listener. The people of Rollinsford will have someone that they can come to who will hear them.
I certainly will welcome all the input I can get, okay, so.
Well, thank you so much for coming and having the interview today, Charlie. You've
Thank
given
you.
people a good idea of who you are and how you're going to work on the budget.
Thank you so much, Andy. Andrea.